AM 630. WMAL.
There is a poster that's being displayed at Yorktown High School. It was put up by some teachers. It was approved by the Arlington School Board. It says the following, and it's done in a rainbow look. So the first line is red, and then orange, and then yellow, then green, then blue, then indigo, then violet. That's right. I remember my colors on the rainbow. Roy G. Biv, right? The first line says, facts are not political. Diversity strengthens us. Science is real. Women's rights are human rights. Justice is for all. We're all immigrants. Kindness is everything. And then at the bottom, in rainbow colors, it says, we are Yorktown, of course, referring to Yorktown High School. Some parents have complained to the school board. The school board responded and said, this is not political. This is not political, and we stand by the poster. We would love to get your response to this, 888-630-9625. Have you seen this in your school? Is something like this going on in your school? Do you think it's political? This is the great thing about here. You can sound off and let your voice be heard, whether you're in Arlington County, Fairfax County, Montgomery County, Prince George's. Give us a call, 888-630-WMAL. Joining us right now is Barbara Kanninen. She is the vice chair of the Arlington School Board. Excuse me. Did I pronounce your last name correctly, ma'am?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. So, on the face of it, in the present political context of the United States of America, circa 2017, I look at some of the things on this, and to me, it comes across as political. Do you not see it?
So first of all, can I just say thank you for inviting me to be on your show
our
today.
pleasure.
This is the first time I've been invited to be on your show. And if I could just take a moment to tell you a little bit about Yorktown High School and Arlington Public Schools.
Thank you.
So Arlington is a suburb of Washington, D.C. We have 26,000 students, 3 comprehensive high schools. So Yorktown is one of them, Yorktown, Washington, Lee, and Wakefield High Schools. And we, as you may know, are a very strong public school system, excellent academics, high-quality teachers, and on top of that, we put a lot of effort into ensuring that all of our students feel safe and supported, as well as academically challenged in our schools. So that's our premise. And you asked if this sign is political. I want to make very clear that, first of all, there's not a school board decision about approving signs or not approving signs. This came to us because parents asked about it. We have a very clear policy on our teacher conduct, and that is simply, teachers do, of course, have First Amendment rights, but we do have a policy about political activity, and that is that teachers are not allowed to endorse a political candidate. They're not allowed to endorse a political party while in the schools and using school resources. The question of whether a sign is political or not is not a question that comes to the level of a policy decision. Again, teachers have First Amendment rights, and they are the particular signs, comments on this sign are about science, and they're about being supportive of all of our students in our schools. So the teachers are fully within their right to make those kinds of comments in our schools.
Are they within their rights? Because my understanding of this situation is that one teacher also hung a sign that was produced by the political action group MoveOn.org, and that teacher was asked to remove that sign. Are you aware of that?
The parent asked me about that. Again, I'm on the school board, and I don't micromanage the schools, so we don't approve or not approve signs in our schools or classrooms. So let me make one thing very clear. When you walk through any school, you see in the hallways, as well as especially in the teacher's classroom, a great deal of posters and signs and materials on every teacher's wall. And that's all part of teaching and presenting that culture and environment of support and academics. So on any teacher's walls that you go into, you would see material about their academic content, the subject they're teaching. You will also often see things like inspirational posters. You might see Mahatma Gandhi.
Sure, I understand.
You might see historical figures.
Right.
So there are all sorts of, and we encourage that.
Well, maybe.
And so you have to be careful by getting to the point of calling some things somehow inappropriately political, which I think is what you're getting at, because teachers need to be supportive of the students, and they are in their rights to express themselves as long as they are teaching their material and being supportive of the full array of students.
So and obviously high school students are coming of age politically and intellectually. So you say you want to create a safe space for your students. If there is a student who maybe has more conservative ideology that they're exploring and might be embracing, when they see some of these signs, wouldn't this actually be an affront to them? For instance, let me tell you, because I think the origin of these phrases is very important. One of them, right in the middle, says women's rights are human rights. Now, here's my understanding. I've done some research. This is the origin of that statement.
If there is one message that echoes forth from this conference, let it be that human rights are women's rights and women's rights are human rights.
That, of course, is First Lady Hillary Clinton speaking in Beijing, China, back in the 90s, 1995. And if you go to Wikipedia on the phrase women's rights are human rights, it describes it this way. Women's rights are human rights is a phrase used in the feminist movement. Now, if you're a young Trump supporter and you're a high school student in that class, how can you not see that posted by your teacher and think, well, this is kind of a hostile learning environment for me?
Okay, yes, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. And you've pointed out something that's most important in how to distinguish these things. You referenced a speech that the First Lady made in China in the 90s. Is that correct? That is now a historical speech. Mm-hmm. You referenced the feminist movement. That's a historical fact as well. I expect many of our teachers in Arlington Public Schools have historical quotes from Eleanor Roosevelt. I expect that they have, quotes about
well, come on. I know. Hold on. No, I know where you're going here, but a historical quote, a historical quote from Strom Thurmond would be seen as hostile to an African American student, wouldn't it? Just because it's a historical quote doesn't mean that it's neutral.
Okay, but let's be very careful here, and you're trying to divert the conversation from the key point here, which is policy and history are not politics. You refer to a historical speech by the First Lady and the feminist movement, and then you went to anti-Trump. First of all, President Trump is the President of the United States. His actions are policy. When you comment on his actions, you're commenting on policy. You are not endorsing a political party. If you say anti-Trump, you're, I assume, saying that's the Democratic Party message. You cannot make that distinction. You're kind of muddying a lot of things. Any teacher can have quotes on their walls from the feminist movement, can have quotes on their walls from historical first ladies, as long as they are not then getting to the point of endorsing, and for that matter, they can respond to President Trump's actions. Yeah. They cannot, however, endorse the Democratic Party or another party specifically as part of what they're doing. I will say we have history teachers, of course, who will often have multiple political posters on their walls. They just make sure that they balance those out so that there isn't a priority for any one party. They will have illustrations from a variety of parties and candidates on their walls, and that's, of course, also acceptable.
Excellent exchange of ideas, Barbara Kanninen. She is the vice chair of the Arlington County School Board, and we do appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you very much.
And we'll